Hello, my lovely video diary group. Um, this is my next video, and this is something now completely new. And I'm a little nervous sharing this, but I said that I would share the real behind the scenes things. And I'm a little nervous to share this one because I'm really right in the very messy middle of planning the next big thing I'm going to do. I'm really planning a brand new thing. This is the thing. It's basically a little mini conference. If you've heard of Hatch Conference, you might not have if you're not in Berlin, but that's a much bigger design conference. And this is a spin-off, an offshoot event, a 2-day event that they used to have as a real separate day of the same Hatch conference, and it was apparently so popular that they've actually spun it off into a completely standalone event. It's just for design leaders. This is not working very well, but just for design leaders. So not really for anyone, but if people who are in that just moving up to a leadership position to really level up and hear from lots of other really experienced design leaders, a lot of different topics. So that's what the event is. It's in Berlin. 2 insightful days to increase your confidence as a leader and make a true impact in your company. Just 80 tickets, 80 people. I think there's 75, they just told me. And I'm showing you this because this is what I did. It was 2 or 3 months ago that I first talked to this event organizer and booked this. And I forgot what I wrote. I forgot what I said I would do. And I remembered it was advanced facilitation. That's my workshop. You can see here. These are the other people. So you can see the different topics: coaching tools for managers, design leadership, a PR handbook, conflict conversation guides, all these really different kinds of skills. And mine is advanced facilitation. Maybe not a big surprise. And yesterday, this is on Wednesday. Today, right now, I'm doing this. It's Sunday morning. And yesterday, I just started thinking, oh gosh, I better prepare. I better prepare for this 4-hour workshop. And I had forgotten what I said I was exactly going to do. So this is a very important part, because I think this often happens that it's some weeks or months have gone by since the client has first booked you for something, if you're a freelancer like me. And I always make sure I go back to the notes that I took, or right now I'm going back to okay, what did they publish online? Because this is what I wrote. I just have forgotten. It's 3 months ago. This is what I said I would teach. This is what I said I would do in this workshop, this 4-hour workshop. And I had to really reread this as I was starting to think, okay, what's my program? What am I going to deliver? What am I going to decide to put in this? Because I want to make sure that what people have come expecting, and that the attendees of the conference, it's not just a one-track conference. They can really choose the different sessions that they go to, and they have to choose because there's overlaps. So these 20 people have really chosen to come to my session, and they've read this. This is all that they've read, this information. So I'm just rereading it now. I did this yesterday to really double check exactly what I promised, what I said I would deliver, to make sure that as I plan it, I'm planning it in a way that delivers on the expectations of the people who are going to come to the session. So apparently I'm going to teach them methods and techniques to facilitate teams through collaborative sessions with multiple people. And facilitation is this skill that they should have as a design leader for innovation and engaging stakeholders, providing an inclusive environment, confident facilitation, leaders or designers who want to level up into a leader, level up their strategic influence and lead teams. So I'm going to teach them how to set up and run a successful workshop with their team, achieve real innovation through facilitation. I just realized now rereading it that I haven't got that in there yet. And handling successful sessions. So that's it. This is my bio, but that's my baseline. That yesterday I was like, okay, I better start preparing. I've got 2 more days, or 3 really: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and this event is on Wednesday this week. I'm not sure when you'll be watching this because I'm not sure if I'm going to post this immediately today on Sunday. But yeah, next I want to go here. I'm going to show you a few things in this video, and I'm positive that I'm going to create another video and really show you once, because I'm still in the middle of a messy, haven't quite figured out the whole plan yet. So I'm going to record another video for sure. And you will actually really, I won't go through the whole thing because it's a 4-hour workshop, but I will really just show you what I'm doing. And these people are paying, I think it's 1,200 euros a ticket for this event. So I think you're going to get, even if it's not, what you get out of it is not my planning process, but you will see what I'm going to be teaching these people who have paid good money for this workshop with me. So this is what I want to show you first. This I did yesterday, where I sat here in my living room on my couch right now, and I did this on my little coffee table just here, just to show this. It won't be very mind-blowing for you, but this is the way that I really always start when I don't really know exactly what I want to do. I knew I had 4 hours. I'm teaching advanced facilitation. I want it to be about design leaders leveling up. I haven't done this specific type of training before. I've obviously taught facilitation before, but I'm really wanting to focus on these people with their particular jobs, and their particular goals of becoming, leveling up or increasing their skills as design leaders. I really wanted to create something custom for these people, for this thing. So this is how I start normally when I don't know what the structure is going to be. I don't know what's going to be in it. I just sit down with my brain, and you'll see in a second, with my brain and with my laptop, just almost doing a bit of a stream of consciousness-y, like whatever ideas pop into my head, I just start putting them down on my empty white table here. So I've just done this time lapse. This is just not a full video, just a time lapse. And I'm going to pause it a bit. So I started, and it's changed now, even since yesterday. It's really shifted. So I'm going to show you a little bit of that now, and even more in the next few days as I change it more and more. But I really start with super basic things like, okay, well, I'm going to have some starting thing where I welcome people, and I'm going to put some more Post-its under there. This is the pink Post-its that you see here, what I copied from this. So it was, level up your strategic influence. I thought that was a pretty big key phrase that I had said that I would deliver. So I said I would help them level up their strategic influence and lead teams more effectively. Oops. So I've got that here is like, okay, well, I better cover that topic, how to level up your strategic influence, and empower real innovation. And innovation is a topic that I think I want to focus on a little bit more with some other content that I'm maybe going to make, is focusing really not just on any workshops, but on innovation workshops. So I think that's why I wrote that in this this description, achieving real innovation. So I've got, okay, empowering real innovation. And then I think that this third one I've got here, I don't think there's any, but I thought, okay, part of this really should be the theory and the mindset of maybe these two, but also something more practical and tangible, how to actually do it. And this says here, practice. How should I give, and I've got question marks here on my Post-it for myself. How should I do this practice part? And I actually still don't know, and it's only a couple of days away. You're really welcomed into the messiness of my planning. And if anything, in this video, you'll see that even someone who's been doing this for 10 years almost, really having workshops, facilitation be the bulk of my work, my career. For the last at least 7 or 8 years, it's been basically all facilitation. I am still very having the same kind of process of let's just see, get my ideas out. I'm not sure what the whole structure will be yet. I'm still trying to find a few nuggets of making this something very special. But I really always just start with getting my thoughts out quickly on Post-its, throwing some of them away, starting again. This is always how I really start. So you can see here I've got just a bit. So start, welcome. I've got a few questions like, oh, I always like to know, why did you choose to come to this? Why did you pay to be here? Why did you choose my workshop? What are the challenges that you're facing? That always helps me facilitate the rest of the workshop if I just understand a bit from people. It's like getting their expectations and their reasons for being here, so that even if I have my plan, I can make sure I mention the topics that they're very interested in. Under this level up strategic influence, level up your strategic influence, I've started putting down like, okay, well, a really good way to start anything, if I want to like convey a big message of why facilitation is the thing that you should learn to level up your strategic influence as a design leader, design person, it's really good to start with a story about why is it, what's the big deal with facilitation? What are the problems, especially what are the problems that facilitation solves for you and your job, your career? So I wrote down a few stories here that I think I've changed already now, but I just was sitting here going like, oh, why why is it that facilitation is so helpful? And I was thinking all of these people are designers, so they're not just random business people. They're all really probably their whole career has been design. So I wrote down, and I was a designer also, I've been for 15 years in the design world. So I wrote down things that I thought straight away. It's like, well, most senior designers really find it hard to really make that jump, that step to leadership. No matter what your experience is, jumping into leadership is different skills. So, okay, most senior designers find it hard to do that final step. They've moved up from junior to mid-level to senior designers, but that leap to leadership is something new. So that could be a reason why. And I wrote here a blue Post-it for myself. D, try and find a quote about this. Try and find something with some weight behind it, some authority, some evidence to show people that it's really true that designers find it hard to take that leap. And actually, I didn't know if that's even really true. I just thought that was maybe an interesting and convincing thing, and I was going to research that more, like see if you can find some evidence for this, so that it's check if it's a convincing argument, and you can show people a link or a quote or something, a report from Forbes talking about design leadership. So anyway, that was just a note. The blue Post-its here are notes for me, like, oh, I've got an idea. Here's a note for me that I have to try and find something or figure something out. So that's what the blue ones are. This next one here, there's designers are often the ones leading workshops or general collaboration. That seems to be in the companies that I've worked for, where there's all the different fields, business people, admin people, developers, marketing people, communication people. And it seems to me, maybe it's just the 4 or 5 jobs that I've had, but the designers are always the ones saying, hey, I'm up for facilitating. I'm not sure why, but that was another thought that I had. Like, for design leaders, you need to really, if designers are the ones that are known for facilitating group collaboration and teamwork, then if you're moving up to leadership, or if you have just moved up to leadership, then that's a skill you really need to make sure you are an expert at. That's in my mind that's a pretty good argument. If I could find, what did I write here? Find an example. Is this true? Why is this? Why is it that designers are the people? How can you become this? I think I wrote. So I was just trying to think of ways at that very beginning of my 4 hours to get people hooked into this idea of like, oh, facilitation is something I've got to have. They've already chosen to be at my workshop out of other options, so they're already interested, but I really want to start any bigger facilitation thing. It's half a day is still pretty substantial. It's not like 1 hour, it's 4 hours. I always want to start with getting them gripped into what we're about to do. It's like, this is going to change your career. This is going to change your work. This is going to mean something to you. This is going to be very useful. You should listen. And then the rest of the facilitation always goes a bit easier if I've told some convincing or gripping story that I really get people to be to sink their teeth into what's coming next. So that was my thinking there with these few post-its. Then under this next stage, I'm going to press play again in a second, and then you'll see me keep writing. I've got this empowering innovation kind of topic. And the first thought I wrote down was like, oh, I could give them a list of the top 5 innovation methods that they should know, and like maybe we can go through them a little bit. I only have 4 hours, so I can't go through we can't really do them all, but methods, like the top 5 methods they need to know, when to use them, when not to use them, how to really nail these 5 top workshops. That was just a thought. I think I've ditched that now. That's gone from the rest of my plan. We'll see. But you can see here again a blue post-it note saying, D, find the 5 most common and useful workshops for design, because it's just an idea and I don't even have in mind what exactly they would be yet. I'm writing. You can see me writing here now. I think the words are when to use a workshop versus a normal meeting. I can't see what the rest of that was. And then there's this more stuff here at the end. How to do things well. So how to set up, how to get the most out of people. These were just my first thoughts. This is only a 30-second thing. You can see here that I literally, I'm just going to pause a few times. I'm sitting here with my thoughts, and then when I kind of have a bit of a thought, but I want to, could that thought be interesting? Let's see if I can tell what my thought was when I pulled my laptop out. Getting the most secret tips you won't learn in any other course, I think is what I'm writing there on that post-it. And then I guess I chose to grab my laptop. What is it? What is it? I'm looking up. I must have, design meetings and presenting design mistakes. I think what I'm looking up here is like, what are the most common design meetings? Yeah, the most common projecty things that designers do, or design leaders, like the project meetings, the project milestones, the things that happen. And of course, I've worked in design for 15 years now, so I had in my head, these are the meetings I remember. I also haven't worked as an actual designer, being the UX UI person, for about 7-8 years. So I got out my laptop just to Google to come up with some list of these are all the meetings that designers have. And I think I might Google next in this. My brain's been full since yesterday, with other ideas, so I've forgotten even what I Googled yesterday. But I think what I might be Googling next after this is, what are the meetings or the milestones or the parts in a design project that are most likely to get delayed, derail things, where people have problems in design projects. I think that's the track that I was going down. But you can see me here, like literally I am writing down these meetings: new project kickoff, road mapping, maybe a design review meeting, weekly check-in meetings, retrospective meetings, just as the first starting ideas of like, what kinds of things do I think the 20 people in this room with me on Wednesday, what do I think are going to be the things that they will relate to that facilitation could really help them with, so that I can find these really relatable topics, like weekly meetings, these kind of weekly team check-ins. For me, even though they're not that exciting because they're boring, everyone has these weekly project meetings all the time, but they're the thing in my mind that is the most wasteful, time-consuming thing. I've just been working with another client We have these weekly meetings every week. And it's the classic story that nothing really happens. There's maybe one person presents, oh, I've got this happened, and I talked to this person, and now we've got this, and so, can you talk to that person and that person? And okay, great. Everyone goes away with a little list of tasks that they're going to do for the next time, but we're not actually making real progress. And I haven't been able to convince, or not convince, but all these people in this client that I've been working with, all the people are so flooded with meetings, all their calendars are full, that we can only get this 30-minute slot with these 7 people. We can only find that one slot in the whole week where they're all free. So what I want to do is say, could we please just all get 2 hours together, and we'll really make a ton of decisions, make a plan. It's too late now because the thing's been postponed, but this was a few weeks ago. I was really getting frustrated by weekly meeting after weekly meeting. And I would have all these questions, but I would have to wait till the next week to kind of pull the answers out of people to help me design that event. I think we had weekly meetings for 2.5, 3 months. And all I did was get that plan out for the workshop, and it still wasn't really confirmed. But it's so frustrating to me that companies can let 3 months go by where we could have just gotten in the room together for a couple of hours and decided all of the important information. So anyway, I'm starting to note down these things that I think might be really relevant for those people that are going to have paid to be in this workshop with me on Wednesday, and writing down these different types of meetings that then I can target and focus on. Here's how you can improve, have a big impact in your company by saving tons of time, getting things done a lot faster and more effectively. These kinds of things. Googling something again. I think I'm checking my notes that I wrote the day before here. But you can see there's nothing very special about this process. Getting the Post-its out. The different colors are really useful. I use them, like, kind of pink is the big headlines, the big topics. Yellow is just me adding content ideas here. The blue is D, you've got to go look this up. You've got to go find an example of that. And that's how I really start anything new that's like, oh, I've got to make a really customized special plan that works for these particular people in this particular scenario. This is how I always start, with Post-its on my table. If nothing else, I think it's interesting to share this, even if it's nothing particularly special, just to show that someone with 15 years experience is still just using the same very, very simple methods. And I like doing this with Post-it notes because it lets my brain be free. I don't really want to. I could have, for example, started with a slide deck or like a workshop plan that I had done before. I've taught facilitation a lot with AJ and Smart and also independently, but I don't like the feeling of starting from a pre-made deck that I've used before or a plan that I've used before, because I'm afraid that my brain might get kind of blinded a little bit by what I already did, and it won't be free to think of really new creative ideas. So that's why I always start like this. Yeah. Okay, so now this is the next messy thing I'm showing you, the last messy thing I'm showing you, and then I'm going to record some more videos over the next, probably tomorrow and the next day, as I really get to the end point of planning this this big training workshop. But so this is my next step. I've gone from, you can see I just took a picture of that table that I just did, like get my thoughts out on Post-it notes. I think then I actually went into AJ and Smart in between and saw Rebecca and Jonathan. It was really nice. Haven't seen them for a while. And then I came back home and I did the rest of this. And some more of it today. So I just took the picture. It's like, okay, let me get this into Miro. And the only reason I'm doing it now in Miro is because it's just a lot easier to put links in there, put images in there that I find to quickly just add more content in a digital way, so that then the next step will be to make a slide deck, because this is in person, the event, obviously. So I'm going to have a slide deck that I haven't started yet. It's going to turn into it, but I've got a lot of templates that I've used before for that. So hopefully it's not too many hours of work. But now I'm just starting to try, and I'm really not close yet you can actually now see, this is where I started just kind of copying across the Post-it notes that I had. And I went in for lunch at AJ and Smart and saw Rebecca, and she had just done a lot of liberating structures workshops. If you haven't heard of that's definitely worth looking up. Liberating structures is basically a big library of different methods that really, they're not really like strict innovation methods like the design sprint. Like they're a bit softer, and I think they're called liberating structures. I actually don't know a ton about them, but I've heard of them for the last many years. That they help people to break outside their normal work mode, their brain mode, their environment, and connect more with their people that they work with, or unlock creative ways of thinking. So they're not really super hard technical methods, but they're really a lot. I think there might be 50 or more different methods that are about unlocking communication, collaboration, creativity. So Rebecca showed me a bunch, and I noted them down. And by that time, I had started this Miro board, so I was like, I just wrote these notes. These are a few that aren't liberating structures. They're just my own separate ideas. I've put them separately because I'm not sure where I'm going to slot them in, or if I'm going to slot them in. So at the moment, I've just got this copy of what was on my table, and it's changed a bit now. But while I was just, after I'd seen my old AJ and Smart colleagues and had lots of conversations, and I started writing a few more things a bit more clearly and doing a bit more Googling, you can see, this is another thing that Rebecca shared, a different way of explaining divergent and convergent thinking. If you haven't heard of that, definitely look it up. The double diamond is another one. But more thoughts came, and you can see that actually just over here, I've kind of, all of this is just, I had a thought and I quickly found a space in my Miro board to just try and get it out, get the thought out of my brain and onto the board. So this is not in any particular order. This really is where I plan to make some sense, whether you can see these pink headings here. I really plan to kind of have this, what I could do actually right now live with you is just start to make this a little bit tidier. I plan to kind of have I won't go into a lot of detail making this look nice, because I'm not going to work from the Miro board. This is just for me to get the thoughts out of my head and into a structure. But this is going to start to be my plan. Got the welcome part here. So it's going to be something like this. I think this is probably still going to be, I don't know about these myths. I'm sure I'll use them. That's probably going to be next. And I'm going to leave a little space because I don't know if, I feel like there might be something else in here in between this. Yeah, I'm not sure about that order. We'll see. And I'll put the wrap up right here at the end. It's not going to get much more detailed than this, just a bit more information in there. There's a bunch of things missing here that I'm going to fill out to fill up the 4 hours. And I'll probably put a lot more in here, and then I'll probably take half of it out again. I often work that way, put everything in, and then I start to think, oh, will this fit in the time? Or maybe this one isn't so necessary, but I just like to kind of build all the ideas together and then do a lot of cutting to really make it as stress-free as possible, so it's not too jam-packed for the people and for me. With all these other ideas, I might just show you a few of them because I really got excited. I started to have, like, my brain started firing. I was Googling and then something else would pop up. And I really like this. I'm really creating a whole new facilitation training program. I like that, creating new things. The status quo part here is pretty, I've used this kind of thing before. All these problems with the way we do meetings and collaboration, things like that, you might have seen before in AJ and Smart stuff. I've got a few more key principles. If you have done the AJ and Smart courses, like the the Design Sprint Masterclass or Workshop and Master, I think you'll remember some of these. Getting and setting people's expectations, showing a clear an agenda, having really clear instructions. I know that content back to front. I haven't typed it all out here, but I've got some new ones. Scaffolding is a term that I remember from ages ago, but I haven't really used. And it's a teaching mechanic, I guess you call it, and that teachers use in schools. And scaffolding means, if English isn't your native language, scaffolding is what you see outside of buildings when they're constructing something, but it's those ugly metal levels and like ladders, just so that the builders, the workers, can climb up and down the outside of the building. And that's what scaffolding is. So it's just really kind of a skeleton structure that helps people get to where they need to go. So in teaching, and it's used in workshopping as well, scaffolding means giving the participants a safe and clear platform or steps to get easily to the next crucial thing that they need to learn or do. So rather than just maybe finishing one exercise, okay, we've set our goals now, and next we're going to do some sketching, you maybe will do a couple of other little exercises in between to help them feel more comfortable with the sketching. So this is what scaffolding means, just slowly like giving them a few things to ease them in to another exercise. That especially it's useful if you've run a bunch of different workshops, or even just a few, and you've noticed that there's a particular exercise where people seem to find it difficult to understand what you mean and understand what the exercise is and how to do it. That's a good reason to think about this concept of scaffolding. Maybe you need to add another exercise in there and something practical that's this in-between step, so that it's a simple thing and maybe another second simple step, so that then when they do the complicated one, they have a lot more familiarity with the thing that you're talking about. Scaffolding is great. So I've added that in as a key principle of facilitation in this new training. And psychological safety as well, I've never really used and identified super clearly. So I've done a bit of Googling about that too. I've got a lot of information to put on actual slides. Something that I'm really excited about teaching, and I'll show you when I've got the final version, it will be hopefully much more understandable, because this is all just a mess on my Miro board right now. But I really want to, I think I've mentioned in other trainings, I think if you've done it in any of the AJ and Smart courses, you might have heard the mention of maybe introverts and extroverts, and I'll explain why there's this medical syringe there, and maybe there's different personality types and different people in the room, and how you can handle, especially if someone's a troublemaker or causing some disruption in your group. But I always just had these quick mentions of, people are different, introverts are quiet, extroverts are like this. But in this training, I think, let's see if this stays in the final cut, I really want to, because it just fascinates me, look at or show people how there are really actually physical ways that your brain sends signals and communicates with the rest of your body. And this is why these funny symbols are here, medical kind of symbols, because there are, did I write it down? There are neurotransmitters here. They're called neurotransmitters. You probably heard of dopamine. That's one neurotransmitter. Acetylcholine is another one, and there's a few others, but these are the two really relevant ones. That for introverts and extroverts, it's actually kind of a bit backwards, that people become over time as kids, teenagers, adults, kids become more introverted or more extroverted because of the way that their body is slowly adapted to these neurotransmitters. And some people are more, sensitive to dopamine, and some people are more sensitive to acetylcholine. I think they call it ACH. And the other way around, some people are much less sensitive and hardly feel dopamine at all, and the other way around as well. And that's actually the thing that ends up affecting your nervous system and your brain to make you either get that dopamine hit, that, oh, this feels good, I want more attention, I want more interaction, I want more things to do. That we kind of know this, you probably know this general thing, that extroverts really are stimulated by external stimulus, external things, lots of things to do, engaging with people. They're usually really good at chatting and talking. They actually get really bored really easily if there's not stimulus and things to do. And introverts are a bit the opposite. They actually get overwhelmed by too many people sometimes, too many things to do. If there's like 10 things happening at the same time, their brains just don't work. Actually, I really identify with being an introvert in a lot of these scenarios, which might surprise some people. But then the other way around, introverts get that happiness hit, that this feeling of contentment or feeling satisfied or happy from something that's more slow and a deep focused task, when they just have one thing in front of them at a time. I really relate to this. I'm sitting here now for all yesterday and hours still already this morning, happily just working on this one task. And I've actually cancelled any social plans that I had. I just made sure I had all of these days free to happily work on this one task of preparing for this workshop. So this is the really high level, but that you already would have known that extroverts are different to introverts, and introverts don't speak as much, and they don't speak as much. They take more time to think and hesitate, or just think a little bit before speaking. And it's not because they have the thought ready to go, but they just decide not to say it. It's because the thought process, the thought isn't ready yet. They just take a little bit slower time to think. And it's not slow is bad. Actually, it's usually slow is good, that they really are thinking through the whole problem before their brain is like, yeah, I can get this into words now. And extroverts are much quicker to think and say something on the spot. They can get that out quickly, like, hey, do you have any ideas? Yeah, what about this? Yeah, what about that? But they're the surface level ideas, and both are very useful, obviously. And that's why we have diverse groups of people in our workshops as well, because we have the quick ideas and then the really solid, well thought through ideas. And this mix always helps. Diversity always helps. But the interesting thing that I hope will be interesting for my 20 participants on Wednesday is that these things aren't this like slower thinking for introverts, or deeper thinking and quicker thinking and being able to chat more easily. These things aren't personality traits. They're not. That's the type of person your personality is. They really are physical. The effects of something physical inside us. They're these neurotransmitters. Different people are hardwired to receive these different neurotransmitters differently. So people who are not sensitive to dopamine, they're actually the extroverts. And because they're not so sensitive to dopamine, they crave the dopamine hit, and they get the dopamine hit from dynamic social situations and having lots of things going on and lots of things to do. That feels really good. It's like, oh, stimulus, oh, things going on. Oh, this person just talked to me. Oh, I wonder what that person's doing. They get that. Or the ping of a message on their phone. That really, dopamine makes you feel good. If you're receptive to dopamine, if you have this low sensitivity, which means you crave more dopamine, then dopamine gives you that happy hit. And someone might categorize you then as more of an extrovert. And it's similar, but the other way around. I won't go through it all again, but similar for introverts, but they have not dopamine, they have acetylcholine. And they just, because of that physical difference in the sensitivity to this neurotransmitter, that's why they get satisfied and actually overwhelmed by the same things as extroverts. They get overwhelmed and they get that comfort, that happiness, that satisfaction from completely different things, like having time to think and doing things quietly on their own. So there's lots more to say about that. I hope that's interesting. I'd actually love in the comments if, please don't just make a comment to please me. I would love to know how interesting that is for you to know as a facilitator, because I'm hoping, and I have to figure out really how I teach that whole message to these people. But I find that fascinating, that if I have a room of 20 people, I think what our tendency to do as facilitators is think, right, I've got a room of 20 people. They're all design leaders. They've probably all got a similar level of experience. They might have, maybe a bit different, but similar kind of question. They're kind of similar people, right? And this kind of thing that points out, and I'll have really nice pictures to actually show all of this. You can see, hopefully in this training, this kind of thing. When I realized these things, that one of the things that I did, that I've got in this, a point that I want to remember to tell these people, is the biggest takeaway for me is that when I learned this information about neurotransmitters and the nervous system, and I didn't even mention the nervous system, but different reactions, physical reactions, the biggest takeaway for me was that I suddenly realized I had kind of been questioning myself and blaming myself, like, oh, but this person over here just really wasn't engaged, and this other person over here, and I really kept trying to push them to say something more, or they seem to have good ideas, but I'm trying to push them to get more active and engaged. And I was thinking that I was doing something wrong, and that's why they weren't as active and engaged. But I just learned this information and stopped blaming myself. And actually, it definitely made me a much better facilitator, because I stopped pushing people, because I realized that they do not want to say their ideas out loud. They're very happy not being asked any questions, not having to say anything out loud, and just starting to be able to spot that in the room of people and say, okay, good, I understand a little bit. If there's someone who talks and is, giving some good input, when I want people in the room to speak up a little bit or share their ideas, I'll just call on the people who I know are like, yeah, me. And I won't push the people who it actually makes them really uncomfortable to be pushed. And I really thought that my job as a facilitator was to try and make everyone engaged. But this was the huge, simple takeaway for me, learning this medical kind of information. Maybe I'll leave this video here, because I think it's really long now. You can see I've gone into personality types and different things and different tips, but I'll save that for the next video, when I probably by then will have really refined exactly what I want to have in my 4-hour session. And I'll record another one when I've got something interesting to show you. I hope that was interesting enough. The biggest takeaway that I think I want you to get from this, and I was really nervous, I did a lot more prep. I wanted to film a video right at the beginning of me really starting to plan this, but I thought, I can't share this. It's so messy and jumbled and disorganized. But I finally just decided to share the mess, because that's the real behind the scenes. And if nothing else, it really shows you that whatever process works for you, you don't have to follow, this is the right way to plan every workshop. There are really important things to think about, like the flow, the energy, where you put your breaks. This is something I haven't even gotten up to yet. Make sure you remember things. So templates can be good to just make sure you remember, important things in your plan, but you can be as messy as you like. I hope that was interesting, and I'll see you soon in the next one. I'll record a video as soon as I've got something more to show you. Bye.